This presentation will discuss my understanding of contemporary learning theory and will review a number of theories that have shaped my personal framework of learning. It will explain how my choices enables or limits specific pedagogical practices. What is contemporary learning theory? Learning is difficult to define and has many aspects to consider. The what learning is and how learning takes place is subject to a number of different learning theories. Hughes and McIntyre suggest that the perspective of the writer influences how learning is defined. Aleris explains that learning theories for the 21st century have expanded to include social and emotional dimensions and neuroscience perspectives, whereas traditional learning theories have a strong emphasis on the acquisition of knowledge and skills. Contemporary learning theory incorporates the three notable traditional theories of cognitivism, constructivism, and behaviorism. My personal philosophy of education has been influenced by these three notable theories. It has been further shaped by integrating the humanism perspective with the core elements of the three main theories. The first personal pedagogical principle is learning should be structured with a student-centered approach. When planning for the students in my classroom to be actively engaged in the curriculum, I would involve the students in the planning process. I would need to consider the students' prior knowledge and interests in order to actively engage, motivate, and stimulate their curiosity. Murdoch and Wilson believe that as students are involved in the planning process, they will be more focused and feel inclined to take ownership of their own learning. When planning, I recognize that learning is constructed by connecting new information to previous knowledge, and this is supported with the cognitive learning theory. Egan and Kalchak are supportive that this is consistent with cognitive perspectives. However, these understandings are limited when students come to class with gaps in their learning and minimal foundational knowledge. In these particular cases, the teaching of explicit instruction is necessary for students to catch up on specific information. Personal pedagogical principle 2 is to establish and maintain positive relationships. For a teacher to establish and maintain positive relationships with students and their families is essential to the child's learning. Supportive and positive relationships with students and their families helps build a progressive connection with the family, giving background knowledge of a student's home life, interests, skills, and abilities, which aligns with the social constructivism. Maintaining positive and caring relationships allows students to feel secure in their learning environment. Bandura's social learning theory, which incorporates cognitivism and behaviorism, suggests that students learn through observations. Role modeling relationship skills with families, both in and out of the school, will support children to replicate these actions. By having a positive relationship, reporting of a child's progress can be comfortably discussed in depth. Plus, parents and the teacher are able to discuss strategies to assist the student in maximizing their learning. The third personal pedagogical principle is to create a safe and supportive learning environment where students are treated as equals. By providing a learning environment where students can feel safe and equal, it allows them to develop a community of belonging. Respectful student interactions can then take place with an appreciation for student diversity. This positive environment will motivate students, creating enthusiasm for participating and going outside of their comfort zone. As a result, students will feel encouraged to achieve to their full potential. I believe in allowing children to advance at their own rate and nurturing the individual as a whole. This is in contrast to Piaget's theory of cognitive development as cited in Sigelman and Ryder, as his theory focuses on all students reaching developmental milestones at certain stages. I believe in the importance of recognizing and nurturing a child's emotional, social, cognitive, and physical development. This approach is similar to the humanistic view. Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences supports my education beliefs, as I have observed students preferring different learning styles to one another through my professional experiences. This approach will support students to learn in their preferred learning manner by offering a variety of activities, targeting the different styles. This will also promote student inclusion and equality. For students to experience success in challenging tasks, I believe targeted and scaffolded instruction should be utilized. Educators also need to provide students with access to the same learning and equal opportunities to demonstrate their understanding. This can be achieved through adjusting the content, the process, the assessment, and learning environment. To implement this, I will use the aid of Bloom's taxonomy to scaffold my planning and differentiation to cater for individual learning objectives. My personal pedagogical principle relates to behaviorism, as I will create fair opportunities by using positive reinforcement, consistent rules and consequences, and suitable boundaries. Positive behavior will then be encouraged, with social skills also being further developed. Personal pedagogical principle 4 is that learning should link with real-world experiences. The social constructivism theory highlights the significance of relating tasks to real-life experiences or problems. As with Bruner's and Brophy's social constructivist views, I think that for students to develop a deeper understanding of content, they need to be engaged in first-hand experiences, use concrete materials and authentic tasks linked to the real world. Students need to view, read, hear, manipulate and experiment in situations that have relevance to them. Also, students will gain higher order thinking skills and creative thinking that is necessary in school and throughout their adult life. By connecting learning to real life experiences, their learning and motivation will have more meaning. I would implement the direct instruction model with modeling of learning skills as its primary component. This instructional model is derived from the social cognitive theory and Vygotsky's social interaction theory. Research by Flores and Kaler suggests that high achievers can continue to develop through modeling, while Egan and Korchak believe modeling can have positive outcomes with low achievers. The direct instructional model would see me guide students with the QAR taxonomy to help develop higher order thinking skills, problem solving, deliver high quality content, give constructive feedback, and use clear language. This model could also incorporate Gardner's multiple intelligences and differentiate instruction and scaffold activities. Skills that will be beneficial to this approach include audios for comprehension, invited speakers, closed procedures, games, and role-playing. A variety of different models of instruction would be used to put my pedagogical framework into practice. Group interaction model would be implemented to emphasize social interaction and language. This model has solid links to Vygotsky's social cultural theory. For students to form personal understandings, new meaning needs to be facilitated through listening to others, expanding on these ideas, and adding to students' prior knowledge. This is a positive cognitive process that enables students to make sense of new knowledge. For this model to be effective, I would need to implement a variety of instructional skills and strategies. Two distinctive skills and strategies I would use regularly are group work, strategies, and interactive instruction. Differentiated activities can be supported by group work situations as it allows students to engage in groups with similar ability levels or creates groups peer mentoring with lower level students. Group work should be monitored to ensure students are working together collaboratively, discussions of the content are accurate, and that students remain on task. My classroom setup would consist of students seated in groups with sufficient space for movement, group investigations, and room for whole class floor situations. Through interactive instruction, I would apply various skills such as brainstorming, role-playing, open discussion, and whole class discussion. The presentation reveals my personal pedagogical framework that connects to a selection of learning theories, instructional models, preferred strategies and skills that I could utilize in the classroom. After reflecting on the various learning theories and learning skills, I am drawn to the social cognitism models. My personal philosophy of education has been influenced by cognitism, constructivism, and behaviorism. These three prominent theories have been further shaped by integrating them with humanism perspective. Personal pedagogical principles I also consider significant include promoting higher order thinking, curriculum and planning, aligning assessment, and ongoing professional development. I believe that ultimately a teacher needs to be flexible in their curriculum delivery to all students and adjust learning to suit the needs of their students and school community.